Hey everyone, I see that there are already quite a few people. So yeah, welcome. We are starting in approximately 6 minutes. So yeah, maybe what you can do is do not forget to like the video. It will help us spread the word. So if YouTube sees that many people like videos, this video, it will start recommending it. So more people will see it. So please do this. More people will know about the course. And also, yeah, maybe write where you're joining from and what is your background? What do you do now? And why are you interested in MLOps? This would be quite interesting. I can hear myself from my phone. I think I should turn off the volume, the sound. Okay. And yeah, so I'm checking now the answers. Vietnam, Nigeria. Yeah. So yeah, welcome everyone. And yeah, I see a question. If there's an opportunity for students to do internship with your company immediately after the course duration. I don't know if this is a question for me. So DataTalksClub, we don't have any internships. We never managed in all our courses except once to have a partnership with the company. So typically this is not something we offer as a part of the course. Once, the very first time when we ran our first course, ML Zoomcamp, we had a partnership with a company in Berlin who took 2 of the students. That was really great. But since then, the market situation kind of changed. So yeah, right now getting these sort of partnerships is way more difficult. So if any one of you knows a company that is interested in getting trainees or junior ML Ops engineers, please connect us and we will of course organize that. So yeah, and I don't think it's fair to answer your questions right now before we actually start in 3 minutes. Not everyone has joined. It's just something I noticed that yeah, maybe it's interesting for you to know. But please, like if you want me to answer your questions, use the pinned link. I will say it one more time, but instead of asking the questions here in the live chat, click on the link and ask questions there. You can also upvote existing questions. So this way it's way easier for me to manage questions instead of going through the live chat. And yeah, in the meantime, I'll check what you wrote. So Colombia, application analyst, want to transition career. Yeah, this is what we help people with, transitioning careers. There are quite a few success stories, and this is always encouraging for me personally to read about these stories and see that people actually change their careers after the course. So this is really cool. So good luck with that. Or I like what Germans say. They don't say good luck. They say a lot of success. Because you usually don't need luck. You need perseverance. So if you are committing and if you just keep doing this, you will get it. And it has nothing to do with luck. So that's why I like the German, they say viel Erfolg, which means a lot of success. I like this saying more than just good luck. Yeah, so Bogota, Colombia, Louisiana, United States, Medellin, Colombia, Morocco, Lima, Peru, Spain, India, Vietnam, Amsterdam, Bali, Italy, Ethiopia, Nigeria, US, India, South Africa, Colombia, Germany, UK, Florida, Glasgow, Russia, St. Petersburg, Wrocław, Poland. It's always nice to see from where people join. It's all over the world. I'm wondering if anyone from Australia is joining. Hopefully not, because it's like very late, right? So those who are from Australia, you're probably watching this in recording. But yeah, I usually cut this the beginning from the video, so you will not hear this. But anyways, hi to everyone. And I see that right now it's 5:30, 4:30 p.m. in Europe, in Berlin. And this is the time when we start. So what I'm going to do is just share my screen and let us start. So again, a reminder to ask questions, please use the pinned link. I will show you this link. So this is the link. You click on this link and you ask your questions there, because it's very difficult for me to manage questions from the live chat. Here you can also vote like that. So if you see a question that was asked, please vote it. And for some reasons it doesn't show. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I will start with the course. So you will find the link to the course here. This is the link to the course. You can on that link. And this is the main, everything about the course is there. And while you're here, please give us a star. So if everyone, all the 184 people give us a star, yeah, hopefully GitHub will notice that and we will end up in GitHub trending and more people will learn about the course. So please do that. And also do not forget to like the video. So then YouTube also starts recommending this video. So this is our main repository, main page, main resource for the course. And here you see everything you need, right? And if you wonder how do I find materials for the course, you just go here in the syllabus and click on the module, and in the module you have all the information. And it's actually already possible to start watching the video, even though the course starts next week, you can already start watching the videos. And yeah, so it's next week, 5 p.m. I will also share the link through the newsletter, through the Telegram channel. Also, I'll probably publish it on LinkedIn, Twitter, all the platforms. So this is where you found this link. You will find the link to the stream next week when we will start the course. Here, I just want to answer your questions about the course. And next week, we will talk more about like the logistics and things like that. But I think I saw already questions. If you can start the course now, yes, you can. And let me just, first remind you to start the course, but let me just go back to the questions and we can start with these questions. I see that there is a question about subtitles. So subtitles are generated by YouTube automatically. I don't think they are doing it live in recording. Afterwards, they will generate some subtitles. So in a while, there will be subtitles, but live, no. I don't think so. I know Zoom is doing that somehow, but YouTube is not yet. Anyways, let us start with the questions. So hi everyone again. And the first question is, will there be any significant changes between the previous edition and this edition? And can I already start working through the 2023 YouTube playlist and GitHub materials? Yes, you can. And yes, there will be changes. So the changes will be not so large. So I'd say 85% of the materials will stay the same as previously. I will show you what changes. So the first module stays the same, this one. The second module about MLflow stays the same. This module, module 3, will change. So we will not use prefect anymore. We will use Mage. And yeah, so we'll use Mage. And Mage, thanks Mage for supporting the course, by the way. So we will use Mage. And then module 4 will stay almost as is, except in one of the units, this 4.6, we will also replace prefect with Mage. But don't worry, let's say if you want to use prefect, you can use prefect. If you want to use something else like Airflow, you can use Airflow. The materials from the last year about prefect will stay, and I will show you how to find them. So I have not moved them yet, but all the old materials will go to cohort 2023, and I will put them into the 03 orchestration. So this is where you will find old materials, and actually, like, there is, I think if I go here, orchestration, so this is like old prefect videos. Yeah, like old from the very first edition. So they are different from the last year. And I will also create a new folder here with homeworks and stuff, like you will see. And this is something I will explain in more details next week. Apart from that, there will be one more change in model monitoring, but I think it's already there. So there is a commit from Emily. So she added, yeah, it was like 3 days ago. So this module is up to date and you can start checking it. But I don't remember which exact unit she added. Maybe metric calculation, monitoring, data quality. So like one of the modules is new, and actually the videos on YouTube are updated. One video on YouTube is updated, and this link is updated, so you can just watch this. And the rest will stay the same, so no other changes. So yeah, you can start, like definitely module 1 and module 2, you can start with them. Okay, where are the questions? How many hours per week should we allocate? How many hours per week should we allocate? How many of them are live? And how many of them are homework related? So the majority of videos will not be live. They will be recorded. We will have a live stream next week on Monday when we start the course. Then we will have one office hours where we will invite folks from Mage to answer your questions. For the office hours for the other modules, you can check the last year and the year before that, because we have answered a lot of questions, so there is no point in redoing them. I can quickly show you how you can find them. If you go to cohorts and let's say 2023 experiment tracking, okay, I think it's here. Yeah, we probably already didn't do office hours. Yeah, so here, let's say. Okay, they're probably in playlists. Let me quickly check YouTube, DataTalksClub playlists, and I will also show you how to find these playlists. So we have a bunch of videos. So MLOps Zoomcamp is the main video, the main playlist. We also have MLOps Zoomcamp 2022 and 2023. Right. So this is the main playlist with just videos, the course videos. Then here, 2022, you have office hours. So if you have questions about some of the modules and you want to check them, you can check them. So we will not do live office hours. We will do very few live office hours this year. We will notify you about them. And here, yeah, there was one office hours last year. So what we will do, is we'll have the getting started stream next week. Then we'll have office hours with Mage. And then we will have office hours before the projects where I will answer your questions about the projects. And all of them will be available in recording. So if you skip something, usually there's a possibility to ask questions in advance. So nothing to worry about. And then the rest you can just watch at your own time. And then as to this part, how many hours per week? It's from 5 to 10 usually. Some people spend more, so it depends on your background. If you already know how to program, if you already know Python, if you're okay with using the command line, for you it shouldn't be too difficult, like maybe 5 hours. If one of these things is missing, then it could be more, right? So 5 to 10 is a reasonable estimate, but also for some people it might be 20, right? So it all depends. I think I just answered that. I'm a senior data scientist working in R&D research prototyping in Jupyter Notebook. How will this course benefit me? Haven't deployed any ML model yet. Yeah, so you're actually in the target audience. So senior data scientists who want to learn about deploying models will learn to do this in this course. So the first module we start with me creating a sloppy notebook, sloppy model in Jupyter. And we get the model, the Jupyter Notebook, and during the entire course, we actually use this Jupyter Notebook, use this model to make it better, to make it more production ready, and we see how to deploy a model. So first, we will make it more structured. We will add experiment tracking with MLflow. Then we will turn this notebook into a runnable machine learning pipeline that doesn't require the actual notebook. And that pipeline creates a model. And then in the next module, we will productionize, we will put this model, we will deploy this model, serve this model, and we will add monitoring after that. So data scientists already know quite a few things. So you are actually a good target audience. But also, you can learn more about model deployment in our other course, mlzoomcamp.com. So this is a course about machine learning engineering. So this is something you can watch before the course, because we don't spend a lot of time talking about deployment in MLOps course, but in ML engineering course, there are multiple modules about deployment. So if you haven't used Docker, if you haven't used Flask, so maybe for you it's worth checking this one. So if you go to mlzoomcamp.com and check module 5, I think you might find interesting things there. And since there is still 1 week before you start, so maybe, yeah, go check it out. Will you teach us how to deploy an MLOps solution in a cluster such as Kubernetes? So for Kubernetes, we will not do Kubernetes in this course, and we will not spend a lot of time on deployment. It's just one unit focusing on deployment in MLOps Zoomcamp. Let me show it here. So here, module 4 is about deployment. If you want to learn more about deployment from basics, again, refer to ML Zoomcamp, the deployment model. Then we also talk about serverless, Kubernetes. So like these 3 modules are about deployment, and like they are pretty scalable ways of deploying, like both serverless and Kubernetes. And this is not something we will talk in a lot of detail in the MLOps course. In the MLOps course, we will cover broader material. So when it comes to deployment, we will talk about different ways of deployment. We will talk about batch deployment. We will talk about online serving and stream deployment. While in ML Zoomcamp, we just talk about online deployment with web services. So here in MLOps Zoomcamp, it's broader, and also we have a variety of topics, right? So we talk about Experiment tracking, orchestration, deployment, monitoring, but best practices, not just deployment. Yeah, so if you're interested in deploying in a cluster, check specifically Kubernetes, then check our ML Zoomcamp. How will the course progress? Through videos or documentation? Videos, I guess. Will this course be useful for someone working as ML engineer? Yes, I hope so. Well, ML engineers are different. So actually, so the goal of this course is to prepare you to be an ML engineer. So if you take ML course, ML engineering course, and MLOps course, then you are ready to work ML engineer, right? But if you already work as an ML engineer, perhaps there are some areas where you don't know yet. Perhaps, I don't know. But if it's the case, then it will be useful. So it depends. It depends on your background. It depends on what you do at work. Check out the syllabus, check out the outline, check out the videos that are already there, and you will see that. And luckily, all of this is already available. How different is MLOps from traditional DevOps? Well, DevOps is for traditional development, and MLOps is for machine learning. So the principles are kind of similar. So it's like continuous integration, like all that, plus some machine learning specific things. So it's not that different. And if you already know DevOps principles, then for you adding MLOps principles on top of that will not be too difficult. So they're pretty similar. It's just the focus, right? So let's say DevOps is for usual software engineering, for backend engineering. Then MLOps is for machine learning, and DataOps is for data engineering. So yeah, it's like a specialization. Can I use GitHub Codespaces for this bootcamp? I'm not sure my laptop can install every lib that is needed for this course. GitHub Codespaces is a great way of getting the environment needed for this course. You definitely can use GitHub Codespaces, and I recommend actually that you do that. An alternative to that would be renting a cloud instance, a cloud machine, a machine in the cloud. In the course, we show you how to do it with AWS, but actually GitHub Codespaces is a very good alternative. It's free, so you don't need to pay for renting an instance. Are we going to need any paid tools during the course, or everything is free? So if you will use AWS, and we use AWS in the course, you will need to pay for that. We do not cover these costs, but it's optional. So it's up to you to decide if you want to learn about AWS or not. And if you want, then you will need to pay. I don't think it will be more than $10. Shouldn't be, unless you forget to turn something off. Right? If you forget to turn something on, then the bill can accumulate. So please do not forget to turn anything off. But yeah, shouldn't be too large. Does this cohort include topics related to LLM Ops, or they will be covered in the LLM course? So we do not cover LLM Ops in either of these courses. So this course is about MLOps, so using traditional machine learning models and deploying, or like about the processes for deploying, for productionizing traditional machine learning models. And in the LLM course, we talk about one specific application of LLM is RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, like how to build Q&A system, which is not quite OPSy. There are some topics like monitoring, which are OPSy, but yeah. So I wouldn't call the LLM course LLM Ops course. There will be some Ops component, but not quite. Why the change from Prefect to Mage for Module 3? Well, we no longer work with Prefect, and the materials need to be updated every year because they get outdated. So these tools, they develop quite quickly. And then I personally have a very good partnership with Mage because I'm an advisor with them. And they are also very generous. They support our community and they make it possible for us to run the course. So they sponsor this course, they sponsor other courses, they sponsor the community in general. So it's a very good partnership. So that's another reason why we include Mage in this course and other courses too. Will we get a certificate after the course ends? Yes. How many weeks in the course? So there are 6 modules. Each module is roughly a week. And then a project is 2 weeks for the actual project, and then the third week is for evaluating your peers. So 9 projects in total, 9 weeks in total, maybe plus 1 week for, I don't know, some unexpected things. And then for projects, we have 2 attempts, which means that if you fail the first attempt or you don't have time to submit the project in the first attempt, there will be another attempt, so another 3 weeks. So let's say 20 to 13 weeks. Yeah. What is long-term plans to continue these courses? This is very helpful for the community. I mean, we plan to run them. So right now, the community is my main focus, my main activity. So while I'm doing that, we plan to continue running the courses. So for now, this is sustainable. So I'm personally earning enough money with that to have a decent life in Berlin. I get less money than before when I was working at a corporation, but I like what I do, so I plan to continue. If the situation changes and I need to focus on something else, then probably we'll stop, but we'll see. For now, there is no plan to stop it, so we plan to continue. And thanks for saying that this is very helpful for the community. It's really nice to hear that. In week 1, it says recommended development environment Linux. Would a virtual machine with Linux running on Windows be enough? Yes, it will be enough. So if you just use VSL, WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, it's enough. You can use that. You can also use plain Windows. This is what I use. When you install Git, it comes with a Bash emulator. So you have all the typical Linux commands there. So this is what I use for development. So I don't use VSL that often. I just use plain Windows. And I don't remember having that many problems. But it took some time to configure everything. So now I have Docker, now I have everything. Yeah, so it just works, right? But some things are way easier to configure in the Windows subsystem for Linux, and even easier if you just use something like Codespaces or run the machine on AWS. And with GitHub Codespaces, I should probably do a video about that, like how to configure the environment. But this is so easy. You just click one button in GitHub Codespaces. I can even show you how. You shouldn't do it in this project, so you create a new project. You click on code, and then you go to Codespaces, and you create a new Codespace. Here, and that's all. You have a remote virtual machine, remote instance where you can do things, and it automatically connects with your Visual Studio Code. It's really awesome, and it's so low entry that like you don't need to have any AWS account or anything like that. Yeah, so I do recommend checking it out. Hopefully I have time to record the video next week about that. So yeah, let's see. Will you help in setting up the environment? If so, will there be support for all OS? Which OS is preferable? Is it necessary to use AWS for this course? We will help. So there is like, if I go to the module 1, there is unit 1.2, which is about environment preparation. And this is how we help you to prepare everything, right? So you can just follow this and you prepare it. So I probably will do another video where I show how to do the same thing, but with Codespaces, It should be a shorter video. And then if you have any problems, you can ask in Slack. Regarding the support, it's kind of difficult. Like if you use Windows, there could be thousands of problems that you can run into, and it's just not feasible to, how to say, it's not possible to help you with all these problems. So at the end, it's actually up to you to try to solve all these problems. And troubleshooting and debugging is a very important skill, and you will need to learn it one way or another. And if you have a problem, and I would recommend trying to solve it first yourself. Then if you cannot, then go to Slack and ask, or maybe even before that, talk to ChatGPT, then ask it in Slack. And we have an FAQ document where most of the problems are already described, so check it out too. Then ask in Slack. But also, if nobody answers, then maybe people don't know the answer. That also can happen. So yeah, we do give some support, but again, like if you use Windows or if you use macOS, the support is limited. Like for example, I don't have a Mac. I only have Windows machine. And if this is a problem I personally encountered in the past, then I can help. If not, then I cannot help. And maybe some of the students will help. And one of the coolest things about these courses that we run is the community. So I'm really thankful for everyone, for all the community members who help each other. So we're here to learn, we're here to help each other. And if you see that there is a question that you can answer, please answer. Sometimes students would tag me, like they would say, Alexey, please take a look at this problem. But don't let this discourage you from actually going there and answer this question if you know the answer. And also, please do not tag me, because it discourages other community members from helping you. Yeah, I hope I answered that. Is there a recommended text for this course? No. Can one finish this course earlier than 9 weeks? So if you start with the project right now, you just finish the project, you submit it when we open the form for that project, and then you will need to do peer reviews. But in total, if you do it this way, you will spend less time. Is understanding of machine learning mandatory? I wouldn't say it's mandatory, so we don't really go into details of machine learning. It will be helpful for you to understand what's happening there. But if you don't know some things, yeah, I would say just give it a try and see how well you understand things that we discuss. And also, there are some modules from Machine Learning Zoomcamp that you will find useful. So maybe the first one gives a general introduction to machine learning. Maybe just check this quickly. Then the classification module is useful. And then the trees module is useful. So if you're looking for things to do this week to prepare yourself for the MLOps course, just quickly check over them. You don't need to do like homework, just to try to understand what's happening there. Maybe not in details, but like just overall. And then also check this deployment, because here we cover things like Docker, we cover things like Flask. This is something we will use in the course, and we expect you to know this. So if you don't, then check the module number 5. Do software engineers or DevOps engineers need data engineering experience to get an MLOps job? Or will this course be enough? So this course should be enough. So data engineering experience helps, but again, so ML engineers and data engineers are different kinds of engineers, right? So if you want to be a data engineer, then you need to have data engineering experience. If you want to be an ML engineer, you need to have ML engineering experience, right? So usually ML engineers don't necessarily need data engineering experience, although it helps. And the other way around, right? Because ML engineers oftentimes work with setting up data pipelines. This is something they need. And that's why one of the modules here is also about like training pipelines, but also we cover tools. We use tools like Mage, which are general purpose and can be used for building any pipeline, right? And the same applies also to data engineers. So if they work in a ML team, knowing machine learning helps, but it's not necessary for them. It's helpful. I don't have any experience with Docker. How should I progress in the course? So go to mlzoomcamp.com, or this link if you remember this, if you can type it, and then go to deployment and go through this module. So there I explain everything you need to know about Docker in order to be able to follow this course, MLOps course. How can I get the certificate? How to submit my homework and projects? So this is something we will talk next week. So I'll walk you through the logistics, and the certificate you will get at the end after you complete your project. There are a lot of tools in MLOps. So I'm trying to parse this question. So your question is if there is the right tool for doing a specific thing in MLOps. Yeah, there are many tools and if your question is how to select the right one, the answer is it depends. So usually you have a specific use case, right? And then you can try multiple tools and just select the one you like. And usually you can when you need to make a decision, you can evaluate multiple factors like the size of the community, the features you need, like things like that. Like this criteria will be different for everyone. But yeah, so you will need to try different tools in order to understand what is the best tool for your specific use case. And for different use cases, the right tool will be different, right? So there's no silver bullet usually. Yeah, but the tools we show here should work in 80% of the cases. And also try to think in this course, try to think about the concepts behind the tools, right? So the concepts, let's say if we talk about workflow orchestration, right? So or machine learning pipelines, the concepts are the same, whether you use Airflow, you use Dagster, you use Prefect, you use Mage, you use something else. Like the concepts behind these tools are similar. So if you understand the concepts, then for you, switching from one tool to another shouldn't be too difficult. Do I need macOS or Linux? Can we do this on Windows? Like you can just use whatever you have. As long as you can install Docker, and usually on Windows it's the most difficult part, as long as you can install Docker, you're good. And again, I will mention Codespaces, because with Codespaces, it's so easy to get a machine with everything you need. So you just get a Codespaces machine, and it already contains Docker, right? And this is usually the most difficult part is to install Docker. So the way what you do is you install Visual Studio Code, you get a GitHub account, you create a code space, and you use your Visual Studio Code to connect to that code space. And that's it. You have an environment ready for the course. How is the AI ML market? How can we find jobs in the MLOs? Because now the market is down. I mean, it's kind of not the same as 2 years ago, like right after COVID. That's true. But there are still jobs, right? So how to find these jobs is another question. And yeah, do projects. And then also in this course, we encourage you to do learning in the public. I will talk more about that. But in essence, this is sharing what you learned. And if you do that, you build a network. More people see that you are learning something new, you're sharing things. And then when the moment comes and you start looking for a job, you already have the network, your posts already appear in social media, and then it usually helps. So market is okay. Like it's not the same as a few years ago, but it's still okay. You can still find jobs and MLOps, especially if you are, let's say, data scientist or software engineer and you add MLOps skills, then for you it shouldn't be too difficult to find a job in that space. Do I need to have knowledge of data engineering? I think I answered. No, you don't. I have a Cloud Guru subscription with sandbox environments. I have not used that. I don't know what kind of sandbox environments they have. Perhaps check and tell us. Is this course for data engineers? No, this is not a course for data engineers. This is a course for ML engineers. If you're looking for a course for data engineers, it is Data Engineering Zoomcamp. And actually, if you want to find all the courses we have, go to DataTalksClub, and then there is this thing, courses. Click on that thing. Scroll a little bit down, and then let me make it larger. You will have this nice table. Then you have all the courses. And the course you're looking for is this one, Data Engineering Zoomcamp. Yeah. So you just go here, but do we not have a link to sign up? Yeah, I think it's here, GitHub, right? So then this is how you find the course. Will you show how to set up the GitHub code spaces in the course? I want to. So let's hope I have time to do that. If somebody wants to volunteer and do that and record the video, that will be immensely helpful. And actually, like if you already know Linux, what you will need to do is just get a GitHub's code spaces, execute these commands in order. You don't need to install Docker. You don't need to do this step. You also don't need Docker Compose. I think it has it. Like basically all you need to do is just install Anaconda there. And this is also optional because they already have Python there, right? So I think all you need to do is just start code spaces and it has all the environment. Yeah, I'll need to check that, but it looks from what I see here, it has everything we need. So I'm not sure if we specifically will need to install Anaconda or not. So GitHub Codespaces has Python 3.10, which should be okay for this course. Like I believe all the libraries that we use in this course will work with Python 3.10. Do I need to create a virtual environment for Python packages? If you want, yes. My current role is focused on Azure. Will I be able to translate these exercises projects and develop them in Azure? You should be able to do this. If I'm working in macOS, the recommended action is to set up a Linux virtual machine on. It's one of the possible ways, yeah. And try GitHub Codespaces too. Homeworks are not mandatory to get the certificates, only projects. One of the delivering a project is. It would be nice to make a video on Airflow. Yeah, please go ahead and make a video on Airflow. And if you do this, let us know, and we will also broadcast that in our Telegram channels. What are the new things added for this? I think I answered that at the beginning. Like that was the first question I answered about things added to the new edition of MLOps Camp. What do you think of Docker Desktop? Yeah, it's a good thing, and I don't think there is any other way to install Docker on Windows, but with using Docker Desktop. So what do I think about this? Yeah, it's a good thing, because otherwise you will not have Docker. In terms of public learning and building a network, on which platforms do you think is the best place to share? LinkedIn is the best. Twitter is the second best, in my opinion. I don't think TikTok will work, but I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know. LinkedIn, I think. So, because on LinkedIn is a professional network, and it's more likely that you will find somebody who can actually help you get a job, whether it will be a hiring manager or somebody who in whose team they're looking for somebody. So I think LinkedIn is the best platform. What challenges a beginner will face while doing the course? Are there any prerequisites? I mean, the part is this part is very broad, so I don't know, depends on the beginner. When it comes to the prerequisites, the best way to find these prerequisites is to go to our repository, scroll down, and here will be the prerequisites. So if you know Python or you can learn it quickly, that's enough. Docker, you can learn it from the ML Zoomcamp module 5. If you did some machine learning previously, it will be helpful. Although people without previous exposure to machine learning have sufficiently completed the course, successfully completed the course, and they say, yeah, it was difficult, but they did this. And then after this course, they did the ML course. So these are the prerequisites. So as far as this question goes, which challenges, like, this is such a broad question, I don't know. Does the candidate have the right to know the adopted metric? Sorry, I don't understand this question. Like, I guess what you're talking about is the homework evaluation. So if we go to our platform for courses, I don't know why it's like that. Okay, if you go to our platform for courses, you will see, so I'm showing now the data engineering Zoomcamp because we don't have yet the course for MLOps. There is a course leaderboard. And for example, this person, who is the first. So we can see that they got 7 points for questions. So it means that they answered all the questions correctly. They got they got a few extra points. So I will explain what these points mean in the next stream. But this is pretty transparent, so you can also see what other people, how they scored. And you can also see the correct answers here, right? So we usually highlight the correct answers. I hope I answered your question. A director of machine learning once told me that companies are desperate for machine learning and MLOps engineering roles, that you just need a few pet projects to get hired. Is this true? Well, why would they lie to you? Right? So if they say this is true, then maybe you complete the course and talk to them and say, look, now I have a few pet projects. Hire me. And you will see if it's true or not. But like, I think, yes, there is something to that. Like, if you show that you can do things, like you can do a pet project yourself, and this is not a boring project, like you don't take an Iris dataset or Titanic dataset, you actually put effort in this project, then yeah, they should hire you. And of course, like there's more to that, like you should, I'm trying to think how to formulate it. Like it's not only about pet projects, right? So you should also be able to communicate with people in the right way to get hired, right? I mean, answer the questions, because there are also sometimes these cultural fit questions, right? And no amount of pet projects will prepare you to pass these cultural fit projects. So for that, you just need to have as many interviews as possible, and then you will, yeah, learn how to answer them. But if you already have experience and you worked in a previous, I don't know, like you worked as a software engineer previously, you probably already know how to answer these questions. Is there a way to know what we can prepare in terms of material for each week? Maybe a course outline, timeline of some sorts. Yeah, like this gives you a note. So each module is roughly a week. And then you get I'll prepare, I should I'll make a note to prepare a timeline. Um, but what you can do now is just take each module and yeah, add 1 week to the starting date. So for this one, it will be the week 0, week 1, week 2, and so on. So I hope it answers your question. Is ML a possible first job or first IT job for someone, especially without degree in computer science or data? Everything is possible. The sky is the limit. Like, of course, you can do a machine learning job. Why not? So there are many people who started working as a data scientist or ML engineer after they graduated. Without degree, why not too? Like, I don't see, like, honestly, I don't think my degree was useful at all for the job I was doing, right? So I did a master's degree, but like the majority of things I studied had nothing to do with the things I was doing at work. So yeah. Is Mage orchestration better compared to Prefect? Which one do you like the most? So better in some aspects, in some other aspects it's not better. So it all depends on what you need, right? So it's very user friendly. It has very nice interface, and you will see that. And maybe the best way for you would be to try both and see which one you like better, because there isn't like they're different, right? So Prefect is more how to say, it's more code based, so it's less visual, and Mage is more visual. Like while it still has these code components, but it has this feeling of working in Jupyter Notebook compared working in VS Code, right? So I think what you need to do is just try both and see what you like more. It would be great if you can also cover blue-green canary model deployments. Yeah, it would be great. I don't know if we will have time to actually update the model, the module materials. So we will do a little bit of updates, but most likely the modules will stay as they are. And we right now focus most of our efforts in another new course where we will need to create everything from scratch. So I cannot promise that we will include any new materials, but thanks for the feedback. This is indeed a very good topic, and this is something we should cover at some point. Can you tell us more about the MLOps Zoomcamp session schedule, date, and time? I think I answered that. But yeah, so speaking of timeline, this is something I want to do. So I will create a timeline and share with you in Telegram. Probably like sometime this week. So then at least by the next week when we start the first stream, then you should have the timeline. Please share the GitHub link for the MLOps Zoomcamp program. Okay, I think I showed you how to find it. So this is the YouTube video. You go here and there's a section with links. Click on that link. And this is the link you're looking for. And if you want to sign up, there's this button that you can click, and you can leave some information about you. And then after doing that, within 1 day, you should get an email. And this means you signed up. But you don't also have to do this. So you can just start submitting your homeworks without signing up, and it will also work fine. Where can I quickly relearn Docker? So, okay, you go to mlzoomcamp.com. I will put the link now here. And I will also include this in the links in the description. ML engineering course. So you go there mlzoomcamp.com, and you go to the deployment module, and you go through this. And here we have this Docker thing, 6. So this is where you can learn it. But probably to understand what's happening here, you will need also to do a bit of the things before. Another place where you can learn it is our data engineering course. And here the first module is about Docker. So you can learn. It's more intense than that one. So in ML Zoomcamp, it's like a light introduction. Here it's like hard introduction, like heavy. So if you want to quickly relearn, then ML Zoomcamp. If you want to like deep dive, then data engineering. Can you please elaborate the key differences between MLOps and data engineering? Okay. Like I don't even know how to answer which one is more superior, but let me show you this. So ChatGPT is great. So let me use the form model and let's see what it says. Yeah, what I will do is I will just share the link with you. Here you go. And you can have it. So like I will not answer this part like more superior because it's strange. Because like everyone is needed. So you need ML engineers, you need data engineers. So data engineers focus on data, ML engineers focus on ML. This is the key difference. And the rest are kind of details like the tools you use, the focus, like the focus is for ML engineers is productionizing machine learning models, for data engineers, data pipelines, right? So I don't know, maybe I should have checked what ChatGPT answered. Yeah, maybe go through that. Like on first glance, it seems good. So check it out. What about pydantic seems to be absolutely necessary for successful MLOps these days? Yeah, pydantic is good. So if you think it's absolutely necessary, please learn it. It's not something we cover, but I don't see why you shouldn't learn it if you think it's useful. I wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary. I'm sure you can find a job without that, because it's not that, like, it's rather straightforward, in my opinion. It also depends on what you actually mean by successful MLOps. I assume you mean for using it for creating web services. Yeah. I would also suggest you to check a look at Fast API. So in the course we use Flask, but maybe for your project, if you want to learn more about pydantic, you can use Fast API and pydantic instead of Flask that we show. So it's cooler, it's more modern. I wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary, but yeah, I would just say do this. It's not that difficult to actually learn it yourself. How flexible is the deadline for homeworks in case that we don't find ourselves with time? So once the form is closed, you can no longer submit it. So it's rather inflexible, I would say. But yeah, it's not a big deal if you miss a homework. Because like, as I said, at the end, we care about the project. So if you deliver a project, then you get a certificate, and homeworks are optional. Like you will get some points for completing homeworks, but these are virtual points, right? And you will not see the number of points anywhere on your certificate, right? So if you miss a homework, it's not the end of the world. So you can just do it at your own pace later, just to make sure that you understood the material. You will not get scores for that, but yeah, it's not a big deal. I answered that. What knowledge level do I need for Docker? Like, you just need to be able to run Docker commands and build a Docker file, like basic stuff. I thought ML engineering, productionizing ML code, MLOps deploying model code. Why is deployment stuff like Kubernetes in the Zoomcamp? So the way I see it, you might disagree with me, and other people might also disagree with me. So ML engineering is like profession, and MLOps is more about principles and processes. It's like you have software engineers and they follow DevOps practices to be able to work in the best possible way, right? So it's about like CI/CD and all that. And while there are roles like DevOps engineers, so usually they are more infrastructure people who make sure that the CI/CD platforms work and so on. So in my opinion, everyone should know this. So let's say if you're a software engineer, you should know DevOps practices. If you're a ML engineer, you should know MLOps practices. If you're a data engineer, you should know DataOps practices. So yeah. And for ML engineers, productionizing model code. So what do you actually mean by productionizing model code? Is it not this? Does it not include deployment? So like if following this logic, I would say MLOps. I would call it platform engineer, right? So person who is responsible for making sure the platform is there. So this is somebody who is, let's say, setting up GitHub actions and makes sure that it works. Who is setting a Kubernetes cluster? Who is monitoring the Kubernetes cluster? Who is setting Grafana, Prometheus, updating Kubernetes when it's needed, and sometimes helps deploying or makes it easier for engineers to deploy things, right? So this would be platform engineers. Sometimes in some companies, they call them DevOps engineers. Yeah. I hope I answered this question. I got confused a bit myself too. But so let's say a platform engineer sets up Kubernetes cluster and the ML engineer deploys model to this Kubernetes cluster, in my opinion. Is the project that is given in the course close to the kind of work that we can expect in the companies? Yeah. We're gonna start on 13th of May, which means I will miss 3 sessions because of my finals. Can I take an excuse to deliver assignments later? No. Like when the form is closed, it is closed. But you can learn it later at your own pace, but you will not be able to hand in the assignments, which means you will not be able to hand in the scores. But who cares, right? As long as you learn something, like you don't need these virtual scores, right? As long as you learn something new and then you can use it, that's all you need, right? So you can just do the homework yourself and then come and see the answers in the platform and check that you made them correctly or not. So you can do the exercises, you will not get points, but who cares? As long as at the end you do the project, you can get the certificate. If you care about the certificate. But if all you need is knowledge, then you also can just follow the course at your own pace. I would still suggest to do this along with a cohort, because this way you will get more motivation. You will get support from your peers who are also doing the course. And it's just more fun, I guess. Is there a discussion channel for MLOps Zoomcamp? Yeah, so there is a channel called course minus MLOps minus Zoomcamp. You will find it. I think it is here. Let me just go to MLOps to the GitHub repo, and you find the course here, the channel. Okay, so it's been a long stream already, 1 hour long. I think we should be wrapping up. So I've been talking for 1 hour. I hope this was quite useful for you. I will just, let's say, answer 2 last questions and we will call it a day. It doesn't mean I will not continue with these questions. Next week, when we launch the course, I will talk about the course logistics, how it is going to look like. And then at the end, we will have time to, again, answer your questions. So yeah, let me take a few more questions. Just want to say thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. It's the best and free course for MLOps. I am so happy to hear this. That was not a question, so let me take this too. Why Flask, not Fast API? Both are easy to start. However, the second looks to be a fast developing and better scalable. It's just something I knew quite well. And again, if you think about concepts but not tools, then like what you learn about Flask is easily replicatable. You can easily do the same thing with Fast API. So that's why I don't see a point in updating it. At some point, maybe we will have to update it. But in all honesty, if you learn how to do it in Flask, then all you need to do is open the documentation about Fast API, and just doing the same thing, but with Fast API instead of Flask, and then it will work. It will work at the end. And also, again, ChatGPT. You can just take the Flask code and ask ChatGPT to turn it into Fast API code. It works super well. Like it feels like magic sometimes. Will the repo be updated? Yes. So next week when we run when we launch the course, everything should be updated. Well, at least probably what actually will end up happening is I will just remove the prefect content, not remove, but move it to the 2023 cohort. And the my mage folder will stay empty for some time while Tommy, who is going to be the instructor for this year, is preparing the materials. Please share a link to the Telegram channel. It's here, Telegram channel. All the lessons are in GitHub and YouTube, yes. Is it possible to do one different project for each attempt? So you get easier question if you can submit 2 projects, because there will be 2 attempts. You can submit it 2 times if you want, if you have time, if you have the energy, why not? Okay, it's just 3 questions. Let me just answer them. My company has MLOps. They ignore it, such as data version and data drift. Yeah, sorry to hear that. What is the preferred code space plan minimum required course? Just the basic one, the default one. Do we get a certification even if we do the course without registration and in our path, but submitting the project? If you submit the project through the form and you evaluate your peers, you will get a certificate. In all other cases, you will not get a certificate. I managed to do all that. So I'll stop sharing my screen until no questions appeared. So you can still continue asking questions in this form. This is something that we will continue using next week. And yeah, it's amazing. I'm really excited about the course. It is the 3rd time we start the course, and I have heard so much positive feedback about the course. And yeah, thanks a lot. And yeah, I'm sure you will like it. And yeah, let's have a lot of fun and see each other next week. And thanks for joining me today. Yeah, right. Have a great